What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, our YouTube channel, Inside the Game Official. Make sure you subscribe while you're there. Our fast channel over on Rad TV, TV streaming platforms around the globe, just like Jinx Esports TV, ES TV, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, and the list keeps going. But maybe you want the audio side, well, we got you there as well. Thanks to our friends at Fired Up Network. We're across 212 audio platforms, so you can't miss us at all. Scott, before we get into today's show, dude, I've been away for a while. Had a couple of days off. Not that I haven't been doing anything, but I've been pretty busy. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been playing a whole lot of Halo and a whole lot of Call of Duty, and just kind of getting back into the old mindset that I had exiting high school, funny enough.
Nice. How's Halo going? The new firefight is out. Is it what you wanted?
It's so good. It's so good. I'm so back in a big way. And we're trying to get any teammates we can, so I'm going to pull you in for some games too.
It's still on my Xbox. I'll be coming back without a doubt. Yeah, it's still there. I hear a lot of good things about it. I'm interested to get pulled in. But let's talk about it today. What's on today's show?
Today we have the day before and how it's fantastic. We're going to go through some of the feedback there. Geoff Keighley also agrees with the feedback given for the Game Awards. That's a big deal. We're going to get into that one. And SEGA classic franchises are having reboots now, and I'm excited for that too.
I'm excited as well, but what I'm not excited, we're going to get into it. Let's talk about it the day before. Scott, dude, before we even kick off into the day before fiasco, man, topic number one. A little highlight here for me. Obviously, I just got back from LA. I was over at the Game Awards. What a highlight, dude! Like, what a highlight. We'll be talking about the Game Awards topic number 2. So, yeah, there's some issues, but for me, there's a bunch of things that kind of went down towards it all. Right, we were at the event, dude. We're in the crowd and we're mingling with people, and the hype of the people there was incredible. Man, we saw a chair in the water, and I'm like, yo, that's God of War DLC, and they're all around me going, no way, you think so? I said, yep, and then Kratos came on the screen, and I was like, yeah, let's go. That mode is out tomorrow. I cannot wait to do that whole new mode now, get back into good. Dude, I instantly came home and downloaded God of War, right? Like, I finished it, wrapped it up, and then moved on to other stuff for review. Came home, instantly downloaded that. After the event was all said and done, because I don't want to talk about the event, we're going to get into the event. But after it was all said and done, everybody's outside, and we're all mingling around, looking for whatever. We have an after party we were invited to go to, and we made it there eventually. But before I got there, ran into a few people. Dude, I didn't get to meet him, but I saw Reggie. I was like, oh, it's Reggie, and he was gone. I was like, man, he moved fast. Dude, he was moving fast. I was like, crap. But
he knows he's very recognizable. He's got to get out of there quick.
He's got a distinctive look, right? Yeah. Reggie's been around a long time, so would have been nice to meet him. Todd Howard was there. Didn't get to meet him, unfortunately. I just missed him in passing. Vince Zampella was there, buddy. He was at the after party. He was busy talking.
I have a lot of questions to ask him, and a lot of inspiration just to pass on as well.
Yeah, so he was one I missed as well. Between him and Todd, I was like, oh man, but you get some highlights. I got to meet Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, right? Got to meet Sarah Bond. I'm like, yes. Matt Booty. I'm like, yo, I got the top 3 dogs going on over here at Xbox. And then as we're making our way over to the after party, I run into Bill Roseman, the head of Marvel. And when we get Marvel games, it's through Bill. I'm like, yo, Bill. Yeah. So we started talking, and man, it was... What a night.
Last few games been killing it over there, Bill.
Dude, what a highlight for me, right? For my career as someone's part of the media, finally able to get over into the world of all these showcases that I always watch from a distance. And then after that, the next day comes around, and we were invited to the Day of the Devs. Dude, I've got interviews, I've got content, I've got games I've played, I've got so much to talk about. So all of that will be leading for the next few weeks and into the new year, because there's that much content. We were able to kind of talk to the developers and then play certain things. Dude, we talked about it last week, Ultros. What a quirky game, but the stylization of that game was absolutely incredible. But, dude, I could keep going, right? It was a magical trip. But yeah, so LA for a few days, and then back home, got back to work produced a show, and then chilled out and
put it right back into the thick of it.
Sure was, man. I put a racing wheel and the whole setup together yesterday, and it was just been nuts. But let's get in.
Really cool,
dude. That's only one chair from Logitech. I got another one yet still. So yeah, there's so much to look forward to. Not only to end off our year, but to get hyped for at the beginning of next year. So if you haven't realized, this is our last week for ITG Daily. We're gonna be taking some time off, re-energizing. I'm a little worn out. It's time to kind of revitalize some of that and chill out and enjoy the holidays, right? We're getting ready for that time of the year, and we're looking forward to a bit of a break, and then we'll come back and we're coming out swinging because there's a lot to talk about with it, just like today. Let's get into it because this is a disaster. The day before is everything we expected it would be.
Yeah, I would like to say just at the top of this, I called it.
Oh man, Grant Taylor Hale, Insider Gaming. In case you missed it, the day before was finally released by Fntastic on December 7th after years of people believing it didn't even exist in the first place. Well, fast forward to today, the consensus is that it'd have been better if it did turn out to be nothing more than vaporware.
Ouch.
Oh boy. With 13,500 overwhelmingly negative reviews on Steam just 3 days after it was released, the day before is experiencing the fastest and most well-documented implosion of any game so far this year. Dude,
that is an achievement.
Let's talk about some of the games that were a disaster, because you get into the Rise of Kong. That was what a mess.
Oh, that kind of came and went.
Sure
I saw one image of Kong, and then that was it. We're gone. Gollum.
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of gameplay of that one. It looks awful.
The Walking Dead Destinies have been released throughout 2023. That it's a tough title to achieve, and well, they crushed it apparently. Man, when the day before it went live on Steam, it quickly gathered a peak player count of around 30,000 users. It was fast. If we fast forward just 24 hours, we can see the peak player count dipped to just 6,600. Scott.
Very quick drop off right there.
Whoa.
People got in, saw what they needed to see, and made a decision.
That is not how you want to see your launch go. That's mostly because the game's servers were borderline inaccessible, but there are other factors at play as well. For instance, the day before is already notoriously buggy, even for an early access game. It lacks key features like melee combat. Dude,
yeah,
what? What? It's a zombie game. How do you not have melee combat in a zombie game? You're just expected to shoot everything? Dude, you get surrounded.
You don't want them to get that close. That's the point. But still, you're going to want to do something about it.
Oh, man. It features strange, almost AI-generated in-game advertisements. It's not an MMO, as Fntastic claimed for so long, but instead it's more of an extraction shooter. When the base concept of the game changes just as it launches, you know there's something seriously wrong with the project. At the time of writing, the day before sits at 7th place overall in the worst rated Steam games chart. It's nestled between Israel's Chasm and Identity, and sitting a few spots behind Modern Warfare 2 2022 and Overwatch 2. Before the game went live, Fntastic posted a preemptive statement to Twitter that kindly requested gamers refrain from accusing them of scamming. Man, dude, you don't.
That was the best part.
That is unbelievable. Before the launch of the game, you put up a thing, "Hey, we're not scamming you." Like, what is this?
Can you imagine if any other product did that to you?
No.
You go to pick up your pizza, and they're like, "Hey, before you get here, just I want to let you know, we totally made a good pizza for you. All right, just so you know."
Yeah, that's.
Please don't accuse us of impropriety. No, it doesn't seem. It's so hard to understand what happened behind the scenes in this game.
Yeah.
How did it get to where it is now, and nobody put a stop out in front of it? It's almost like these people are aware that, and I want to be careful because I don't want to make too many accusations here, but I think there has to be some awareness that this was going to happen when this product made it to market.
Dude.
They didn't have the server space for nearly as many people as wishlisted the game.
No. Fntastic knew. Fntastic knew they had a crap game to start with. Right?
You have to.
Absolutely they did. No, they knew going in. There's a reason why they said it was a battle for the title, that they had to take it off of Steam. There's more behind the scenes. There's definitely way more behind the scenes. But they already knew that the game wasn't ready. That they were was, dude, if they preemptively put out a statement, they knew feedback was going to come in a negative way. No developer puts out a statement that says, please don't fire on all cylinders on us.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What a scam. I'm calling them out. This is crap. They should never have seen the day of light at all. Never mind the day before. Shouldn't even been released. This is a disaster.
I think this is a sign of other things happening with their corporate culture as well. There's a lot of conversation to be had about this volunteerism, and I have questions for that because I don't quite understand if that's, well, a very good business model, clearly.
No. So obviously this, I remember when we first got a breakdown of the trailer, right? And when the muzzle flash came up, it was just a flat JPEG image.
Oh yeah, it was like a PNG almost.
Yeah, exactly. So when this comes up, it's just like, whoa, wait a second. Right? Man, you have high standards. When you're ripping off titles like The Last of Us, yo, you better come out swinging. And they didn't. Dude, it looked like The Last of Us met The Division kind of thing, right? And it's nowhere near. Everybody's on Steam right now, absolutely crapping all over it for good reason. And I hope this is a lesson to developers to not scam people. We want to play your game, right? Like, dude, I saw this. I'm like, man, this looks cool. I want in. The possibilities of what they said it was going to be and the setup to it had me very excited. At the end of the day, I didn't hop in, and I'm glad I didn't. And I don't think I ever will. I don't know. Can they fix this, Scott?
I don't think they can. I think this is just too much of a splash in a negative direction to recover from this, just because of the high level of this many people got on, this many people were turned away, and it was so awful. This whole situation reminds me of Star Citizen, but at least the developers behind Star Citizen will create something that works to express their, what I used to believe was vaporware.
Yeah, well, there you go, right? And talking about the AI generated stuff, AI generated games show you right here that it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't feel like it's the love from a developer who actually cares. That's the other side of it. Yeah, don't scam people, because you just get called out on it, and it just doesn't work, and it hinders the rest of the future of your studio. Right now, every time they launch a game, or they try to, or they even try to say, "Hey, here's a patch coming," dude, people are just gonna be all over them. So no, this doesn't work. No, don't do it. Don't play this game. Don't do this. Don't do that. This doesn't, like, it's just, it is not worth it. Scott, as I mentioned off the top, dude, I was at the Game Awards, and though it was a different feeling from my perspective than I think a lot of people watching at home, man, it was just a different environment, right? But here we go. Geoff Keighley agrees that the Game Award winners were played off too quickly, but says, quote, "No one was actually cut off," end quote. This is by Dustin Bailey over at GamesRant. Quote, "I asked our team to relax that rule as the show went on," end quote. One of the biggest criticisms of the Game Awards last week was the winners were played off the stage, and showrunner Geoff Keighley agrees that it was something to address. Quote, "I do agree that the music was played too fast for award winners this year, and I asked our team to relax that rule as the show went on," end quote. Keighley said in a tweet after soliciting feedback on the show, quote, "While no one was actually cut off, it's something to address going forward," end quote. Award shows pretty much universally start playing music when the producers feel an accepted speech is going on too long, and the Game Awards was no exception. The difference with the Game Awards, of course, is that it's as much of a marketing palooza as award ceremony, and time that could have been spent allowing game developers to celebrate their victories was instead associated to celebrity comedy bits and big budget trailers. Quote, "Last year, God of War actor Christopher Judge made a now infamous 8-minute acceptance speech for his Best Performance Award, a moment he got the opportunity to crack some jokes about this year. This year's uber fast efforts to get recipients off stage were an apparent response to that, but this was pretty much universally criticized by viewers and attendees. It came to a head when the Baldur's Gate 3 devs accepted their Game of the Year award and got the please wrap it up sign, as the team was paying tribute to developers who had passed away. That was the nail in the coffin right there, Scott."
Absolutely. That one was where it crosses so far into disrespectful that it's hard to understand their side of the production level.
No, absolutely.
Like that. And that was just one example of an incredible amount of things being cut short. He wants to say nobody was cut off, but when you play the music and you dim the lights, what do you think's going to happen?
That's cutting them off, right?
Yeah.
And there is a fine line, right? Like the whole Christopher Judge thing went on. And
it did.
I get the hype behind Christopher as well. Dude, it was funny. So as Christopher comes out this year to hand out the award, they instantly started playing the music. But it was a joke, right? I'm like, okay, I'm laughing at that. Christopher's laughing at it too. Everybody caught it, right? It was funny. Then we moved on. And then the developers started accepting their awards and getting quickly shunned off stage. Go. Beat it.
Yeah.
30 seconds, man. Go ahead.
It was almost like it was replaying that joke, but nobody was laughing after the first one. And it just kept replaying the same joke. And that never works positively.
There's a balance act, right? Of how long is too long for your acceptance speech. Because not at the end of the day, dude, not everybody cares to listen to an 8-minute speech or a 5-minute speech. We're like, okay, what's next? What's next? And then when the awards come up, it was Geoff Keighley off to the one side on the left-hand side when we were in the theater. And, okay, here's the awards. And he rhymed off a bunch of awards, and then boom, that award.
Yeah.
Nobody comes up on stage, right? Next award, boom, that award. And up next, world premiere.
That's
right.
It felt like it was just such a wrong, just starting point to be jumping around like that, rhyming off all these awards as if it were like a hockey score. And
then Kojima comes out on stage for a 6-minute conversation about back and forth about how much they like each other. Like it's just. That was
it was just an old played out meme from 2015, but no, that was infuriating. And seeing just the way the time breakdown in general in every single instance, almost a celebrity cameo, we'll call it a cameo, pops up on stage, and that gets so much more attention than people who poured hours and hours of years of their life into these games.
And it's not just them, though, right? It is them. It is the hundreds of others that worked on it as well. And like I said, the nail in the coffin is when they're up there for Baldur's Gate 3, accepting the Game of the Year award. And they're mentioning those they want to pay tribute to who have passed over the years of production. And to get pushed off stage, dude, that lit people up. And I get it. That is not... Whoever started that music, that was a bad move. That was a bad move, right? There's a balance. And that one just didn't pan out. There are some awards I'm like, okay, cool, yep, great, I accepted your speech, that's cool,
time to move on.
Exactly, right? Beat it. Let's get into the next one. But after 2 minutes, there's only so much you can want to hear about. You want to see what is next, right? It's what keeps the audience, a lot of the audience, going. If you're in the media like we are, that's different. But if you're at home watching, right, that's where the other side comes in with it. They're like, okay, that's great. Sometimes these people don't even know who these developers are. That's the other side, right? So that's what I mean when it comes to Geoff and this fine balance of how do you get people off. And well, he's got to pay for the show, right? He's got to pay his people. He's got to make money at the end of the day. How do you do that? You advertise, you bring out trailers, you bring out the showstoppers, right? So
this is what's turned the Game Awards, however, has become Winter Game Fest, and I see that being talked about. And I think that's a good distinction to make. But then, what do you do with the Game Awards? Does that become its own separate thing for media only? Is there much of a point to that? These awards are supposed to be a moment for us to give thanks.
Yeah,
and that's the whole idea. And I would like to see a lot more effort being put into that next year. But the feedback has been overwhelming. It's blasted the entire internet, Twitter space, whatever you want to call that. And it's impossible to ignore. We will see differences next year.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Geoff is always listening too. I think that's the good part about Geoff and what he does is he does take in everybody's feedback, right? He took in feedback from last year's show and try to adjust. And he kind of tipped the scale a little too far.
Adjusted a little too hard, yeah.
Exactly, right? But nobody... I don't say nobody, but not everybody wants Christopher Judge up there for 8 minutes.
No.
And I understand that, but at the same time, we're there to celebrate the work that's been done, that we are able to enjoy these games. So let these people have their spotlight, right? Let them bask in the rewards of what they've gathered over the years of all this development.
To let them get out a proper concept. Eiji Onuma is not English first language. It's not easy to put him on the spot. And you're English first language. Let's put you in a stage and see how well you do in 30 seconds. It's nuts.
Oh man, everybody's nervous, right? Like you get up there, you're nervous. I was just like, man, I couldn't imagine being up on stage and how my stomach would be just flip flopping all over the place. Yeah. And then as you're trying to rhyme off everybody you want to thank, dude, you're gonna like that is not easy. So we'll see what feedback comes in and adjusts for next year. But Geoff Keighley heard the feedback. It's just a matter of time how he balances it all, because it's a sticky situation. Scott, SEGA wants classic franchise reboots to show edginess and rebellious mindset. Jordan Midler of VGC. As announced at the Game Awards, SEGA debuted a new trailer that confirmed that Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Shinobi, and Crazy Taxi will all receive reboots. Man, I was watching this and going, yo, I know that game. I know that. Ooh, this is a modern era now we're getting into. We're seeing SEGA transform what they've had in the past that fans have loved. And I just wonder how well it will translate moving forward, Scott. That's the bigger question to me, right? But now speaking with Washington Post, SEGA co-chief operating officer and SEGA of America CEO Shuji Utsumi has said, quote, "We really want to show edginess and rebellious mindset," end quote, when discussing the tone in the recently announced Rivals, in hopes of eliminating the original game's vibe. What a weird concept, because it was such a mindset back in the day, Scott. Now they want to get rid of this?
Yeah, they want to bring it. It seems like we're going to roll back to the 2000s, where everything is a little edgier, a little more grays and darks.
Yeah, maybe, right? Remember all the browns we had? Quote,
some scrappy characters, yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to forget Shadow the Hedgehog.
We'll see. Quote, "The concept of games like Jet Set Radio is advanced. The original creators are involved again, and its time is now," end quote, he said. Quote, "It's a good time where people can appreciate all kinds of concepts," end quote. According to Itsumi, the Persona, Sonic, and Yakuza franchises have been holding SEGA up in recent years. Man, I did not see that comment coming, and credits their success for allowing SEGA to explore their year-scale reboot project. We've been investing into these three titles the last 3 years, making these pillars grow, and they grew very well," end quote, he said. Scott, we'll see what the future holds for SEGA, but it's definitely an interesting take, right? We saw this new presentation, these 5 trailers come across all in one like main trailer. But what I did see, it did catch my eye. So maybe this edginess may actually work.
Oh, hopefully. I'm looking forward to some new Crazy Taxi. I haven't played that game in more than a decade.
It was Golden Axe that caught my eye.
Oh, I never played that one.
Oh man, back in the day. Scott, it's a little quiet coming off the Game Awards, but there's a little something to play today. What is it?
That's right, we have Schism entering early access on PC today, and that's a good song.
Nice. And that'll wrap up today's show, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news each and every day. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm Drew. That's Scott.
And we'll see you inside the game.